Oh, hey, what's up? So are you new to RC crawling, but you're not sure where to start, you want to get into it? I think it's pretty interesting. Well, stay tuned. I'm going to go over a bunch of stuff on RC crawling to help you get a better start in the hobby. Hey guys, real quick, before we get into the video, just want to say thank you to Red Cat. I've got now an affiliate link through Red Cat. So if you need to buy anything through Red Cat, there's a link down in the description below. If you use that link, I think it give me 5% back, something like that. And it just helps the channel out. It's the first time I've gotten an affiliate link, so again, appreciate Red Cat for letting me get an affiliate link, and let's get on to the video. So when it comes to RC crawlers, there's a lot to question of what you want to get into. You know, do you want a massive RC crawler? Do you want more of a scale-ish kind of RC crawler? You want something big and ridiculous basher like I've got up here? There's all types of RC crawling to get into. And so you've got your scale crawlers, your big crawlers, micro crawlers, and there's all types. So many to choose from. So where do you start? Well, there's a lot of questions to that. Let's go over some of them. First things first, what do you really want to do in RC crawling? You're getting into it, you're seeing stuff online, you're like, these look really cool. So first things first, determine what's in your area. Because obviously you're gonna want to go out and hang out with friends that are into the same thing. So go to your local club, your local hobby store, especially if they got a crawler track or anything like that, and just ask people there. Or if you've already got friends that are into RC crawling, maybe that's why you're looking to get into it. See what they're running. Do you want a trail? Do you want a comp? Are you looking into doing competitions? Or are you looking to like a basher crawler? You want to actually do trail crawling, scale crawling? What is it that you want to do, and what's in your area where you can go and make friends or have friends that are doing it and just have more fun? So you can get into full competition built crawlers. You can go more of a scale-ish crawler, and you just got to decide what is the one you want to go with. So then you got to figure out what scales everybody's running. Is it 10 scale, 6 scale, 24 scale, SCX 30 scale now? You got to see what everybody's doing. So again, that's where you go to your local stores, your local clubs, just your friends if they're into it, and see what scales they're running. Now, like the club I'm a part of, Back Hills RC, we run 10 scales, 18 scales, 24 scales, now the 30s. So we kind of run a bit of everything, but mainly it's 10 scale. The events that we go to around like Pennsylvania, the Recon G6s, Moyers Grove events, Blue Rocks, just a couple other events around the area, they also run 10 scales, 6 scales. They don't really do anything with them, but you can run them there. 24 scales, 18 scales, most likely this year now with them being out, 30 scales. So again, find out what's in your area. So next, you figured out what you want to build. Let's go over builds. So let's start off if you want to do smaller scale. You want STX 24s, which is mostly your micro scales. Some people run 18 scales, which would be like this one. So here's your 24 scale, 18 scale. So depending on where you're at in the country or in the world, 18 scales might be more popular, or even 12 scales. 12 scales are popular over in like China, Japan. I think Europe does a lot more 12 scales than we do. US is mostly 18th and 24th scale, 10th scale. So you can build a truck. So this is more of, now this is my Comp 24. This is my main one I like running, but there's not much done to this. Or you can get into it like this is a class 3. This is 4-wheel steer, built 24 scale. So when you build a truck, you got to figure out what you're building it for. So if you want to go insane class 3 level build, you can do that. Or you can keep it more, stockish look. Like this truck, all I've done is links, throw in some extra skid plates, and a bigger servo, some wheels and tires. That's all I did to this truck. It's still running the old friction shocks with some grease in it, and this is one of my best performing trucks. I love this truck. You don't have to go nuts on a build. A lot of people go insane. They put 800 pounds of brass on a build, 200 millimeter shocks. The truck flexes all different ways. Honestly, that's going to hurt you in a comp. You don't want to do that. Do not build a truck like that. A little bit of flex helps, but you don't want to go insane flex. It really actually defeats the purpose of having flex if you overflex the truck. Like if you can put one wheel flat like this and the other one's flat like this, it looks cool in pictures, I guess. It's not a thing for me, but it actually hurts the performance of the vehicle on the actual rock crawling courses. Some people may disagree with me, but for everything I've tested and everything I've seen, super flex ain't great. A ton of brass is not good. A little bit of brass on the front of the truck can help. Mainly, you always want to remember, you want to keep your brass or any extra weights down low. You don't want rotating, really don't want rotating brass. The only thing I do is I put brass rings in the front wheels. That's it. I normally do brass knuckles and maybe the diff cover. That's it. You don't need to go nuts with brass on a truck when you're doing competition crawling. Even in trail trucks, maybe a little bit of brass up front, so when you're crawling over rocks or over logs, get the little bit of weight to get the truck over. That's all you really need. You don't need to go insane with brass. You do not want brass on the rear axle. Maybe a little bit, but you don't want a lot. Very little. Mostly if I put brass on a rear axle, it's just a diff cover. Nothing else. You want to keep the top of the truck, everything that's sprung. You do not want weight up top. Only on the axles or in the wheels. That's it. You want to keep the top of the truck as light as possible to help with your center of gravity. Because when you're rock crawling, you're tipping, you don't want all the weight up top. And then that's, your sprung weight, it's pushed, the springs are going to push the weight over. So, that's the one thing to think about. Don't go nuts with brass. Don't overdo it with the big shocks. Everybody, when you start out, you're thinking big tires, big shocks, monster truck, gonna be an awesome crawler. It's not. It's gonna be a terrible crawler. I did the same thing. My first RC I bought, I built it as a kit. Next thing I did was chucked on like 120 millimeter shocks, 2.2, the biggest 2.2 tires I could find. That truck sucked as a comp truck. It was terrible. I hated that truck. So I've only got one truck with 2.2 tires, and it's not a comp truck. It's just a competition rock crawler, not for comp. It's built to look like a competition, like a real competition rock crawler. But I don't run that truck in comps. That is just a fun go out and drive truck. So let me grab a couple of my tent scales, and we'll go over some of those and what each one of them does and what you're kind of looking at for builds for each. So let's start off. You're a beginner, you're getting your first RC crawler, you're not sure what to do, what to get into, you're not even sure if you want to comp or just trail. My recommendation, Traxxas TRX4. Traxxas gets a bad rep, and I don't know why. Yes, they're a major RC maker. Yes, the TRX4 chassis is old, but the TRX chassis is proven. I have put TRX4 chassis through some crap. I beat the crap out of them. And they just keep going. Are the electronics great? No. Chassis? Awesome. I would recommend TRX4 Sport. TRX4 Sport because it doesn't have all the fancy diff locking and unlocking diffs, 2-speed transmission, you don't have to worry about the servos. It's just an ESC, a motor, a servo. All you need. For your first truck, it'll teach you how to drive as a crawler. It's a great crawling vehicle. I love the Sport. Traxxas needs to re-release the kit. I also recommend for your first truck, get a TRX4 kit and build it. That way you can learn the truck, so if it breaks, you kind of know what to look for, or you can take it apart. You kind of know what the truck is. I highly recommend kits. Especially the Sport. Of course, they don't make a sport kit anymore, so hopefully that comes back. You don't want a high trail unless you're looking to build a mud truck. You don't want a high trail. Hell, the TRX4 high trails, they're 2.2s, they're long shocks, their center gravity's bad, and they flip over a lot. I recommend a normal Traxxas TRX4, either a sport or just one of the regular ones they have that have the diffs of the lockers and all that. To me, you don't really need the diff lockers. Some people might have the reasonings for it, but to me, you're mostly going to be running with the disc lock anyways. So, TRX4 Sport, I think even now they still run like 350 for the new ones that just came out. The RTR Sports, they've just re-released a couple of them. That's my recommendation for your first beginner RC. You'll learn stuff from that. They're easy to work on. You can aftermarket part the whole truck. There's so many parts made for a TRX4. You have so many options. So that's my recommendation. First truck, TRX4 Sport. Highly recommend. It's the best way to go. Onto a cheap truck. This just got released. Now I think this has been available from Yikong for a while, but FMS and FRC, well, not FMS. FRC just got these. This is a Yikong. It's got a bunch of numbers. I don't remember what the numbers are. That's the name of the truck. It's like 4218866. I don't know. This is a $220 truck. Lexan body, sticker windows, portal axles, all metal gears, transmission, portals, the diffs are all metal gears. It does have a nylon, like plastic chassis. It's an odd chassis, but it does flex a bit, but it's probably going to be pretty good on the trails. It does have diff lockers, but they're manual. You got to flip the switch here to unlock and lock the differentials. It does have a 2-speed transmission with a servo. And all in all, the shocks are reminiscent of a Traxxas TRX4 shock. They're not the same, but close, which I like. At TRX4 shocks, hands down, best shocks. I put TRX4 shocks on everything. Anybody says the TRX4 shocks suck, they didn't build them right. They're the best shocks on the market. They don't leak. Built right, they're amazing. So, just a recommendation on that too. This thing just came out. Just got it the other week. This is another one I actually would recommend. I watched a couple videos on this. Guys have started beating the crap out of these things, and they're doing really good. All metal links all the way around. The only big problem is the bumper. The bumper catches on the tires. You have to chop the bumper a little bit, like I did. Besides that, for $220, this is a deal. And if you're getting into crawling, honestly, this would not be a bad way to go. I'll put a link down below for Fair RC where you can pick this up at. I would definitely recommend it if you want to save some money and try a crawler with portal axles. Because if you're beginning, portal axles give you more clearance, so it'll help you crawl better. But yeah, so again, it's a Yikong something another. I could not tell you the numbers right now. I'm pretty sure it starts with a 4. I don't know. So let's move on. Okay, so either you had your first truck, like a TRX4, or you just know that you want to get a little bit more into either hardcore trailing or even more like comping. You want to get actually comp. First thing first, if you're going to comp, look around your area to what their rules are running by. Are they running SORCA? Are they running RCSA rules? They're running their own weird set of comp rules. You never know. Because then you got to build your truck off of what they're running. So, comp rigs. There's a lot of great comp trucks out there. The Traxxas TRX4 can be made to be a pretty good freaking comp truck. People may disagree, but I can tell you from first experience, a buddy of mine ran his TRX4 Sport in comps, and he won a lot of comps with its TRX4 with barely any work done to it. Most of the Vanquish rigs are pretty good comp rigs and trail rigs. A lot of the Axial rigs are good trail rigs. The SCX10 Pro, the SCX Base Camp, what's the other one? The Coyote. They just released Coyote. Those can all be really good comp trucks. I run an SCX10 Pro for my comp rig, and I really like it. I don't like that truck as a comp rig. I wouldn't run it on a trail. I wouldn't run it as a trail truck, but as a comp truck, I really like it. Like I said, most of the Vanquish rigs are really good comp rigs. Just trying to think. Yeah. So, but you can do more research on that. You can look at what the other guys are running in their comps. See what other guys. Rock crawlers are pretty good at not being pissy about showing off their rigs. We really like showing off our rigs. If you've ever been in short course racing, you know why I say that, because short course drivers and dirt track drivers are very pissy about that. Most of them. I shouldn't say most of them, but a lot of them are. I've watched guys at races cover their rigs, and if you even look their way, they yell at you. But comp rigs, comp guys are like, look at my truck! This is awesome! Yes! Build this! So, one I will recommend if you can get one. I love this truck. I actually have a couple of these. Axial 19 Wraith. One of the best trucks ever made. I wish Axial would re-release this. Not updated. Re-release this exact build. These trucks are awesome. For comping, for trailing. One of my favorites. Hands down one of my favorite rigs ever manufactured. So this is my custom built Axial 19 Wraith. This is a straight axle, no portals. I have another one that is portals. But these rigs are so good. Now, this I can't run this in competition because you're supposed to have the full cage. Most of mine are all chopped cages. Because I run these as trail rigs, but I would comp one of these in a heartbeat. I would comp one of these without even a second thought. Axial 19 Wraith. Seriously, one of the best rigs you can buy. If you can get one, do it. Get one. Grab it. But parts are getting hard to find for these. You got to play the game with those. Just remember that. Next, I'll move to a comp rig. So, I've redone this one for this comp season. This is all brand new. Body. This is a Project IJ off You Imagine. The link for that will be down in the description below. This is sitting on an Axial SCX10 Pro chassis. This has carbon fiber rails, axle mounted servo, a little bit of brass on the front. This is a full hard body with full depth interior. Now what I say that is because you get points. So when you do actual comp crawling, there's points you get for scale accessories, scale things. So like this truck, I get hard body points, which is a lot of points. You get points for lights. I have lights all over the truck. Full depth interior, full driver figure from the feet up. There's going to be scale accessories put on this before we even get to the comp. So that's another thing you got to look into if you want to get into comping, is you want to scale your truck out to get as many points as you can, and that helps you when you're comping. So this truck is built to comp as best as I could build it for what I think it's going to do. I ran this chassis last year with the Lexian body. This year we're going to try with the hard body with a full 3D printed truck. So, and then that's the other game you got to play. What type of body you want to run, especially for comping, that plays a lot into it. You want a body that you can just get through. As much as I hate saying it, you got to get through the rules. But you got to push the limit of the rules if you want to compete nowadays, because some of these guys they've learned how to play the rules, and some guys get way too competitive about it. You just gotta, if you're new and you're getting into it, it's hard to go against a guy that's built a $1,000 plus rig. Honestly, this truck, this may be, for what I've got into it, it may be a $500 rig, and that's mostly the chassis kit. It's got a Fusion SC in it, NSDRC steering servo, and then the 3D printed body, Trill wheels and Proline tires. And it works. It's a good running rig. So you got to figure out competition-wise. The biggest thing with competition is you got to play the game of what am I going to go against. and what are the rules, what can I do, what can I build. So if you're really going to get in competition and get competitive about it, you're mainly going to want to make some friends in your area and see what they're doing, see what the builds are, and who's really winning and doing really good. So that's another game you got to play. So next, let's go and look at some super scale trucks. Alright, so maybe you're not in a competition. You don't want to do that. You want to do you want to go out on the trails with your buddies and do some rock crawling on the trails. Or you're in the hiking and you want to go hiking, just run a truck, give you something to do while you're hiking. Here's some recommendations for that. One, TRX4. Again, great trail truck. So this is another IJ build. This is sitting on a Vanquish H10 Optic. And this is my trail truck for this year. It's not done yet, still got some work and lights to do to it, but it's getting there. But an H10 Optic is a great truck. Would I run it as a trail truck? Possibly. You can run it as a trail truck. Some of the other Vanquish rigs, great trail trucks. Traxxas TRX4. Some of the Axial SCX10s, great trucks. The Axial SCX6. It's a big trail truck, but it can be a great trail truck. So, if you're looking at just trailing, then bigger tires, get you over obstacles, and just a nice body you like, and then go trailing. So maybe you want to do more scale crawling. So you want the smaller tires, you want it to look more of a realistic overlanding rig. There's a bunch of trucks for that. The Element Night Runners, great trucks. Independent front suspension are not the greatest like rock crawler, but for a more scale, smaller tire rig, they're great trucks. They also have what I'm building right now. This truck is not done, but this is an RGT Land Commander. It's a Land Cruiser LC79. This is an overlanding truck build that I'm working on. This is for a scale event that's coming up in April that I'll be going to, and this is the truck I'm going to be using for that. It's a smaller 4.35 tire. Get the nice scale look. And you can go nuts with a scale truck. I'm going to have scale accessories all over the roof rack. Got my limb risers here, lights everywhere. I'm waiting on the light bar still. I'm going to be putting fog lights in the front bumper. I've got a working winch up front and rear. Still waiting on some parts to finish the winches. And full lights all the way through. Painted and detailed interior. And this is more of your overlanding small tire truck. If that's what you're looking for, I recommend the RGT. This is a really, really nice truck. Again, Traxxas TRX4. I will always recommend the TRX4. You can build that truck so many different ways. Again, Vanquish rigs for trail rigs, axial rigs. There's so many options for what you can build for what you want. But this is just kind of a, hey, this is what you should look for, what you might want to get into. Let's look at something a little bit more interesting now. So this big old doofy thing, this is a Traxxas Summit. Technically, it was marketed as a rock crawler. It can rock crawl, and actually not bad. This is not, of course, a scale rock crawler. It's a monster truck rock crawler. This has 2-speed front locking diffs. I forget what else this thing has, but it's a fun truck. It is a really fun truck. These again are also discontinued, but you can actually find these pretty good. These aren't hard to find. May not be in the best condition. Both of mine I've gotten used. So, but this is a super fun truck. Now this is not the body that comes on it. This is a body my buddy Josh painted up custom and gave it to me as a surprise. And I, of course, had to mount it up on my Summit. It looks freaking awesome. But a Summit is a fun trail rig. I would not call it a rock crawler. You could call it a rock crawler. It's not a competition crawler by any means. But if you want something just stupid on the trails and just fun, just absolutely fun on the trails. Traxxas Summit. It's a lot of fun. Okay, and we're just going to finish off a little bit with a couple more little small scale trucks. So, 3D print is done. So this is the new FCX24 from FMS. It's a Toyota Tacoma. And this is a great little truck. FMS has killed it with these. Very super scale looking, got a 2-speed transmission, and they're not expensive. That is a nice little truck. Then you've got the FCX24 Camel Trophy truck. So here's your more super scaled out truck. Now these are accessories I added on. They do not come with the truck. But again, another great little truck from FMS. Then another one, you want to get fun into it. This is their FCX18. I've added Batrazzi tracks to it. And this is just another goofy scale RC crawler you can get into. And these, really, the FMS stuff is not that expensive to get into. So if you're looking for something cheap, small, you can run around the house, like outdoors, I recommend some of the FCX24s, the SCX24s, the FCX18s. Of course, now you've got the SCX30s that are coming out. This is the one I put a 3D printed body on. And these are an absolute blast. I highly recommend. They're $100. I recommend the SCX30s because you can just run them around the house and they're an absolute blast. So, that's pretty much it, guys. So hopefully this helps you maybe figure out what you might want to do in RC crawling. Again, just take your time, and the biggest recommendation I can make before you buy anything is just talk to your local shops, talk to your friends that are into it, talk to your local clubs if you have any RC crawler clubs around you. Just see what everybody's doing, if you're going to just find out the rules. It's the biggest thing. Just find out what rules they're running in their competition, so that way you can buy a truck or build a truck to meet the rules and go compete. The competitions are fun. I more enjoy just going out trailing with my friends. And if you're doing that, then hopefully this helps you figure out maybe a truck for that too. The biggest thing I recommend is either start off easy with the TRX4, ready to run. If you have a little bit of knowledge on building truck, like not building trucks, but if you want to build a truck, I more recommend that. It's just, you get to learn the truck as you build it. And if something breaks, you're like, oh, I can actually maybe take this apart and fix it myself. Again, TRX4s are great for that. They're easy to build, they're easy to repair because there's thousands and thousands of aftermarket parts. Same with the SCX24. Most of the axial rigs you can get parts for them left and right, unless they're discontinued. The Vanquish rigs I would recommend for more, if you've been into the hobby a little bit. They're more in depth. The VRD transmissions are a little bit more to take apart and deal with, but they're good rigs. So in the long run, it's more what you're comfortable with, more what you want to spend, and just go from there. So hopefully this video helps, guys, and appreciate y'all watching. Another video coming soon, so stay tuned. Got more coming. Thanks again. Hope y'all have a great one. Catch you later.